Today's session is Scale Your MSP, and we are going to learn more about Helpdesk MSP journey. And without any further ado, let me go ahead and present to you all your speakers for today. So we have Jen Six. She is a Senior Product Marketing Manager here at GoTo. Hi, Jen. And we also have Chris Bull. He is the Managing Director at Helpdesk. Perfect. Hi,
Thank
Chris.
you.
I think you are muted, but I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and leave you two to it, and I cannot wait to hear more about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maria. And as Maria said, welcome everyone. We're super excited to have you here today. And I am especially excited to introduce Chris to you all, the Managing Director of Helpdesk. I'm going to go ahead and just let you give a quick intro, Chris, and we'll jump right in.
Thank you. Well, I started Helpdesk 35 years ago, and I didn't really know much about running an MSP at that time. I was always the technical guy on the team that helped everybody. So I made some mistakes setting up the business, but 35 years later, we're still running. So very happy to share my story today.
Awesome. And we are happy to have you. So just to give you a little lay of the land and what we'll be talking about today, we're going to start off with getting to know Helpdesk and Chris even a little bit better. And then we're going to jump into chatting about some of the challenges and pain points that Chris has experienced in that MSP journey. We want to talk a little bit about Helpdesk's use of remote monitoring and management and the remote support capabilities within LogMeIn Resolve that have helped Helpdesk scale. And then we'll kind of round it out at the end with future proofing and Chris and Helpdesk's approach to mobile device management, or MDM as you may know it, and AI. And then, of course, we'll have some closing thoughts, and then we'll open it up for anyone who has questions. So again, any questions you've got, pop them into that Q&A, and we'll make sure that we get those addressed. So let's jump in and get to know Helpdesk. So Chris, tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and then maybe if you've got a little bit of a fun fact that you can share with the group.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd say I came from a customer service background, so I didn't realize about service level agreements when we first set out. So Helpdesk, as the name implies, has always been there for ad hoc support, and that was how we started. Of course, these days we then backfill with monthly services such as 365 backups and security products, but we're known for being a sort of customer friendly ad hoc support team.
Awesome. And what kind of clients are you typically serving in your MSP?
Okay, so they tend to be the very small business size, so perhaps 3 to 10, that kind of size. But we actually, our largest customer is a large retail chain, so we do cover the whole gamut.
So you've got quite a variety of customers that you serve. That's cool. And I know in chatting with you and preparing for this presentation, there is some things that make Helpdesk really, really cool. And I think that people first approach that you've ingrained in your culture is so telling about the kind of business you run. So tell me a little bit about your people first approach. And I see we have a fact on here that you answer every call in 3 rings. I'm just curious, how do you make that work? Tell us
Absolutely.
about that.
Well, I think most ISPs are started by technical people who put the technology first, and of course, the technology is vitally important. And probably most of my competitors do as good or better job than we do technically. But I think it's a people business, and people really don't care about bytes and bits and megabytes. They just want their systems to work, and when it doesn't work, they want to phone somebody up. They want a quick answer. And we tend not to use first in, first out. We tend not to use a ticketing system, although we do have one. We don't call them tickets. So somebody phones up. If we can handle the question there and then, we do. And it's a little love point earned, and the customer goes away happy. Now, of course, if we can't solve the problem straight away, then at least we will set a time when it's convenient for us to do so. So I think it's important to meet all of our commitments. I used to work for a Japanese multinational, and that was all about meeting commitments. But the corollary of that is that you mustn't make commitments that you can't meet. So we have to make realistic promises and then hit them.
Yes, that's such a good point. It's promising the world is awesome when you're being promised it, but not if you don't get it. So being super realistic, I think, is a very good ideology. And I'm curious too, you have a strong people first approach. And I know when we think about that, we think about customers first, but I'm sure that this ideology has found its way into Helpdesk's culture. So can you tell me a little bit about how that has shaped maybe a people first approach as far as colleagues or just the culture overall?
Very much so. So what we tried to do, having decided we want to appear to be warm and fluffy to our customers, we've employed the engineers who are kind, thoughtful, and helpful. So we actually try and have our internal culture is one of helping each other. But we extend that to our suppliers as well, which is why we get on quite well with LogMeIn, because I think we share many of your values. It's not just about getting the job done, it's getting the job done nicely, in a nice way, with nice people. And that makes the day go a little faster.
I agree, and it's you've got less to complain about at the end of the day, right? When everybody's nice. What a shift! It's kind of nice. I love it. So very good. We know it sounds like things are going well. You've got a really strong culture that you've built, but with any business, I think it goes without saying there are certainly some challenges and pain points that you have to navigate your way through and figure out how are we going to overcome this and continue to see that success. So curious if you can share with us some of the standout pain points that you had when you started the business, and have you seen those evolve over time?
Sure. Well, as I pointed out, I made a big mistake by concentrating on ad hoc support, and one of the issues that I didn't realise is that we might have customers that might not call us for 12 months or 24 months. So when it comes to looking for an RMM, we had a really good tool beforehand. It worked really, really, really well for us. But what we needed was something that we could put on a lot of endpoints, but not necessarily manage those endpoints. So that ruled out about 80% of your competition. So we one of the nice things about LogMeIn is we can have not unlimited, but we can have a lot of endpoints that sit there and they radio in and go, this person is still active, this PC is still online. If we need to do something with it, then we can upgrade it to a pro license and start paying full money, and then we can manage it properly, use it for remote control, etc. But it's having that visibility of the low level items out there. That was important.
Yeah, that's super important. And I think understanding your business model is kind of unique in a sense, having talked to a lot of MSPs. So, could you dig a little bit deeper and just tell us a little bit more about the business model and having that visibility into those endpoints that aren't managed? Like, tell us about a customer that you have that kind of set up with.
Okay, sure. So one of the problems with employing engineers is they will find the quickest way to solve a problem. So if you want a particular process followed and your RMM tool or your database doesn't follow the quickest route, they will find a way around it. So again, one of the things I was looking for was a tool that was easy to use. So we have our own database, which is basically quick. When the phone rings, we already know who's on the phone and whether they have a job open. We can get to all the information very quickly, whether that maybe it's a telephone line or something. It might be with us, it might be with another supplier, but we know about it. So we wanted to match that with our RMM tools. Anyway, we don't always choose our customers. I'm very fortunate to have grown with a large retail company. And one of the issues with food companies is they have a high turnover in staff. So the person we're talking to this week may not be at that company next week. The person who's got a problem with today may not know us. So what we really wanted is a way. We can go on site, but as it's a UK-wide business, it could be a 4 or 5 hour drive to site, a stopover, a 4 or 5 hour drive back. So we want a way of being there um, um, and being able to solve problems quickly for people we don't necessarily know very well.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I think thinking about the turnover in those kinds of businesses, to me, it's like, okay, we're going to have to reestablish ourselves. But I feel like from what I know about Help Desk, you all probably get on the phone with someone new and they love you immediately too because of the way you approach the issues. So I think that makes having that kind of turmoil in the industries you serve a lot easier to manage.
I don't know that they do love us because the poor people who phone us up, they've got a problem.
Fair?
It's our fault. It's a computer. It's my fault. It's Bill Gates's fault. It's everybody else's fault. So we have to try and take that customer and say, I know it's your fault, but we are here to help. We yeah, and so having good tools helps you on that journey.
Yes, absolutely. And then they're happy by the end, right? So,
Yeah,
oh, good.
hopefully, normally,
Yes,
normally.
exactly. We hope for that. So I think we laid a lot of the groundwork for what we're going to talk about now. So I'm excited to dig a little bit deeper when we talk about making the switch to LogMeIn Resolve and using the RMM functions there. So knowing that you'd used a previous RMM and knowing that probably a lot of thought had to go into making a change, what kind of considerations did you have when you were looking at Resolve, and really how did you prioritize those things that you were looking for?
Okay, so initially it was about ease of use. So the previous tool we used was great. As I said, it radioed back lots of information, but there's lots and lots of clicks to kind of get it to do the right thing. So what I was looking for was a nice, easy to use screen that we could click on a button and very quickly get to a solution. I guess I know we're going to mention camera share later, but I might as well introduce it now. Camera share was a bit of a bonus. So if anyone's ever used camera share, basically we send a link to this new person at the restaurant, and they can use their mobile phone like this, and they can shine it around. And they go, well, follow the black wire. Where does the black wire go? It goes into number 2. Fantastic. Can you put that back into number 3 where it was yesterday? So camera share was a bit of a bonus. It wasn't necessarily what persuaded us to move uh, to Resolve in the first place, but it's certainly a tool that's worked very, very well for us.
Awesome. Love to hear that. And I think that kind of touches on all the bullets here, right? So having something that's easy to use, having something that makes remotely supporting your customers easier. And then I'm sure your customers appreciate a quick fix, like moving a plug to the right place as opposed to, waiting and having to try to figure it out on their own and waiting hours for you to get there. So yes, we will dig a little bit more into camera share here coming up, but I think that's such an important call out that probably saving a lot of time and we might call it a game changer.
Yeah.
So, very good. So I want to dig into a little bit more of that and really kind of the impact that having something easy to use and easy to implement, how does that impact your team and your internal users as opposed to having something complicated or maybe like too difficult if they don't even use it properly?
Sure. So obviously, now that we got Resolve up and running, it is easy to implement. We can send a link. We can send the customers to our website to click on a box there, and it does implement very quickly. Very very easy to roll out. I must say that when we first bought Resolve, it didn't go terribly well. So we probably bought the wrong product. In fact, we did buy the wrong product. We tried to roll it out. It didn't work well for us. And I thought, here we go. I'm rolling up my sleeves, ready for a big argument. And I think that's where LogMeIn really sort of came up trumps, because you actually listened and you went, do you know, I think you've got the wrong product. We weren't stuck with it. And because of that, we got to know your sales management team, the rollout team, and subsequently some of the developers. And so the interaction has been fantastic. Again, I'll mention something. Anyone that's ever used it, there's a lovely pie chart comes. I like the donuts, so there's this lovely donut pie chart comes up, and it says these guys are good. These red ones have got a serious problem. So you click on it, and it lists all your customers that have a serious security patch that needs to be fixed. So you go to the first one, you click the button, you go off, patch that, fantastic. You come back, and instead of the order of the customers being as you left it in security order, it used to change back to alphabetical order. So okay, so I have to sort it again. So we mentioned this to developers, and they went, "Yeah, fine, we'll get that sorted." And within a week, so I've just set a lovely bar for them to hit next time. But within a week, that was fixed. So I think the guys really listen, and that's again that was a bit of a surprise, and that's been very good.
Yeah, and I'm pretty new to the go-to and LogMeIn team, so hearing that kind of feedback is so exciting for me to work somewhere that values that, having spent a lot of time in the software space. So I'm so happy to hear that our team was able to come through like that for you. And I know I've been dying to talk about camera share, so I'm really excited to take a moment just to shed some light on this feature and really how it's helped you at Helpdesq. And before we jump into that, I just want to level set a little bit. If you're not familiar, it is a way to, like Chris said, have your customer use their phone, and you can kind of be their eyes. They can show you exactly what they're looking at. I think from an MSP perspective, it is really important to call out that it does reduce the number of on-site visits your team has to make, especially if your customers aren't super close by. We don't want to just have to chalk that time up as time lost, having to go see a customer. So gaining some of that time back, being your customer's eyes, and because you save all that travel time and have that immediate visibility, helps you resolve issues faster. But I know you have a really cool real life example of how you'd use camera share. So I'd love if you could share that for everyone here.
Yeah, well, so I think obviously in the retail business, we we had an issue, and every now and again the tills would go offline. It was random, and we checked all the wires, we checked everything. We really couldn't work out what was wrong. So we had the guy by the till get the camera, and we followed all the wires through, and we went, yeah, that one goes there and that one goes there. And what's that white wire? Where does that wire go? And it turned out that about 5 years ago, maybe even longer, the previous telephone system, somebody had terminated it in a Cat5 socket, and they'd put the Cat5 socket into a switch. So, and every time they got a spam call on their on their own telephone line, it put 50 volts through the switch, and the poor old switch sort of wobbled a bit, and then came back. We would never have found that wire without, because we're not expecting to find a seventh wire. When there's 6 wires, we're not expecting to find a seventh one. So I think that's a prime example. But I think as well as that, we often say to a customer, okay, can you see those green lights? How many lights are on? And they go, oh, there's 2. I go, show me. Yeah, those 3 lights. Yeah. Is the middle one on? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's 3. I thought you just meant the ones that were flashing. So it really has been good for us.
Yes, I get that feeling from that story, and I think that's something we can probably all relate to too, right? Like I asked this, but now actually being able to see it is a little bit of a different story. So I love that, and what what a find, what a find on your side. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. And then switching gears a little bit, as we know, the technology landscape is always evolving, and there's always new things to consider and things to implement. So with 2 hot topics, MDM and AI, I am curious if you could just share a little bit about your thoughts on MDM, how that plays into Helpdesk security outlook, and any other thoughts that you've got around MDM.
Sure. Well, obviously, we all have to take security very seriously these days, and it is quite hard, perhaps, to convey the importance of a good security setup. But the Cyber Essentials, for its good and bad points, I think has been quite good. Customers have heard of it and they say, "Oh, we'd like Cyber Essentials," and you go, "Yeah, that's fine." What we have to do is make sure that all of your PCs and Macs and are all patched, nice and easy. Oh, mobiles. Oh, by the way, all the staff bring their own mobiles and none of them are patched and nobody knows what operating system is. So can you go out to all of your employees and ask them what operating system version they're on? They can't do that. So what we were looking for was a mobile device manager that works just exactly the same way as LogMeIn. We found some things that do some of the jobs. So how excited am I when LogMeIn go, by the way, we're going to launch an MDM, and I've been on your case for 6 months to try and get hold of a copy. But it works well. And again, we're expecting it to do exactly the same as LogMeIn did, where we can manage updates and look. So it was a bit of a surprise to find that on your mobile, on the mobiles that our customers bring to the office, you can split it into personal and work. Now that's great. So we don't get to see the personal side, but we can manage the work side. That's a real advantage, especially in the small business market, because most of our most of our customers don't supply their own mobiles. So it's good.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with kind of that shift, right? Like we've been in a hybrid work model for a long time, but as that is now continuing to be a trend, having insights into those mobile devices is even more important than ever, I'd say. So, agreed. Getting a little bit more secure on that side is all good things. Um, and I think it goes without saying, I feel like maybe the webinar gods would come and get me if we didn't talk about AI at all in this session. It's on everybody's mind. So at Helpdesk, how do you approach AI? What are your thoughts around your techs using AI in their day to day?
Okay, so I'm slightly older than you, Jen, and with that comes a fair amount of cynicism. So AI this, AI that, AI something else. So log me in, Resolve, go to, come along, and they say, okay, we're going to introduce an AI into the product. Would you like it to do your job for you? And you go, no. No, what we really want is to look at the metadata and to say, we've seen that problem before. Here's 3 or 4 solutions that you might like to, your technicians might like to have a look at. And that's exactly what it does. So it was quite a breath of fresh air, again, talking to the development team to hear that that's kind of what they had in mind. And then to be able to click on button number 1. So let's say your hard disk is filling up. There could be sort of 3 or 4 options. Option number 1 is, do you want to go and clear your internet history? Yeah, click on a button, and that inevitable box comes up on the screen that says, are you sure? So if you were scripting, the script would stop at that point. So again, the AI is looking at the screen and going, aha, whenever you press that button, there's this picture comes up. I know how to handle that picture. So next time we can resolve it quicker. And it brings us back to our initial conversation about, in order to be loved, we want to try and hit the right solution first time and try and be quick in how we can solve problems. So
Yes.
yeah, Jen, you actually had a good the other day. You had a really good saying about AI. Can you remember what it was?
Oh, yes. And to be fair, I think I stole this from someone else. So if you're watching, I give you credit. But there's so much talk about AI like replacing people in their jobs, but especially at this stage, the saying that I've come to know and love is AI won't replace people, but people with AI will replace those without it. And I think it goes exactly to your point. We're just working a lot faster if we have some intelligence telling us, hey, we've seen this before, you might want to approach this, where not to shade myself, but it might take me a little bit longer to come up with that or find the data that supports that and to troubleshoot. So anything that can make people more efficient, I'm a huge fan of, especially if we still have that control, right?
Also, you might think doing ad hoc support that perhaps we wouldn't necessarily want to fix the job as quickly, because if we fix it twice as fast, we only get half the money. But in reality, fixing it twice as fast means we can do twice as much work for other people. There's always plenty more we can do, and there's plenty more preventative work we can do rather than just solving the problems.
Yeah, love that. Do more with less, more in the same amount of time. We like any chance that we can take to do that. So just in case you didn't know, based on this conversation, we do have mobile device management available with LogMeIn Resolve. So if you are new to the MDM space or just interested in learning more, you can use this QR code to go ahead and check that out. We actually have a trial up there so that you can feel it out for yourself. So certainly take advantage of that. And I also just wanted to call out that we are doing some really revolutionary stuff with the way that we are approaching AI through LogMeIn Resolve. If you scan this QR code, you'll learn a little bit more about the stuff that we're doing, but it is all designed to do exactly what we're talking about, making you more efficient. And that's really the end game, right? We want to just be able to do more in less time and do it well. So check that out. It's pretty exciting, the stuff that we're working on and putting out into the product. And then I just have this as a boilerplate slide for your MSP, just to highlight some quick things that are available to you through LogMeIn Resolve. We do have the multi-tenancy to support your MSP structure. Got those RMM functions built in. We didn't dive into a lot of those particular features today, but it does have alerting, the remote execution, scripting, patching, lots of remote support options. We talked about a couple of those here today, but even more available to you. We've got zero trust security, a built-in help desk and knowledge base, which is super helpful, especially when you are looking to resolve issues you've seen before with that knowledge base, and having things drive the knowledge base being AI powered is some of the stuff you'll read about in that press release. So using the knowledge that LogMeIn Resolve is capturing while you're resolving issues, boom, we can turn that into a knowledge base article. So just want to call all that out and let you know that we do have a lot of features to support you in your MSP journey. And if you are an MSP thinking, ooh, this sounds exciting, we certainly want you to continue that excitement and check it out. This QR code will take you to our MSP page so you can learn more about the solution, and you can start a free trial from that page as well. So we hope to see you exploring that and seeing what Resolve can do for your business. But before we let you go, I do just want to give Chris an opportunity to have some closing thoughts. And based on the conversation that we've had today, I think it has become pretty clear that you're able to differentiate yourself in a pretty crowded MSP space through your customer experience, and having the solutions in place to do that and support what you need to do are important. But again, having that customer experience nailed down and talking to your customers like the people they are is what you've got figured out. So I don't know if there's any parting thoughts that you would like to leave us with today.
No, I think only just the overriding one about having a good relationship with your suppliers. I think we've achieved much more with your help than we would have done taking the product out of the box and just turning it on and trying to get it to work. So, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for that. I think that's an important tip for any solution you put into your business, right? Lean on your vendor, especially if they are open to it. So take advantage of that. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and pop into our Q&A and see if we've gotten any questions. And it looks like we have a couple here. So Chris, We know the people first approach is key at Helpdesq, but this listener is curious on how you balance that with the scalability and efficiency many MSPs are after. Do you feel like it's ever slowed down your growth, or has it done the opposite?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I think it makes sales easier because customers like to have an ad hoc option that maybe doesn't have to be your only way to market. I think for us, we've grown steadily over the years, but we're not geared up for growth. So I think if you want to grow your two reasons for growing your business. One, because you want to sell it and get more money, and the other one is to make more profit. We're quite happy to be to earn adequate income and to operate in a friendly space. So growth wasn't our primary concern, but I do think that having an ad hoc solution for us makes selling much easier. We can say to people, have a go. If you don't like us, don't come back. But most of them do, and then we've got that open opportunity to upsell the recurring monthly recurring revenue products.
Love that. It's like a foot in the door for your
Yeah,
customers. I like that approach. Very good. And we've talked about this a little bit, but it looks like we've got some curiosity around how do you evaluate the tools to invest in for your business? And for LogMeIn Resolve, what key features stood out to you?
that's a good question. We literally try and get a 30-day trial of each and give them to all of our engineers, and they are really, really good at finding faults. They go, I don't like this one. It has a drop-down box. I'm not going to use it. Whatever. I think the other issue we had as a small MSP is we want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and some of those. And many of your competitors could offer that, but we have to buy all 10 modules. So that just wouldn't be profitable for us. Whereas with LogMeIn, I don't know, we do get a little bit of everything.
Excellent. Love to hear it. And then we have one last question. We'll round this out. It's about AI. So we're excited. So preferring to have AI help your team, but not necessarily do the work for you. Do you have any examples of where you've implemented that kind of AI use already?
That's a good question. Probably not. It's quite new. Um, we certainly use AI for the generation of not quotes. What's the word I'm looking for? When you uh, when you want to go out to customer with a
Like
perhaps
a proposal?
with a proposal. Thank you very much. We certainly use it for that. We've probably not used it enough in LogMeIn yet. But I think there's plenty more buttons we can click on, and I think possibly the database of knowledge is something that we haven't explored as much as perhaps we should.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's also new and the opportunities are exciting. So
Yeah, the phone keeps
maybe
ringing.
we'll love it. Well, excellent, excellent. Thank you so, so much, Chris. This has been very insightful. We all really appreciate your time, and we hope everybody here has a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jen.